Hi, guys, and welcome to the Horror Room. So, summer is fast approaching. Depending where you live, it's either feels like it's already summer or you're like, hey, spring's finally here, but it's starting to get a little hot out. So, usually, this is the time when people get vacation hours and they try and use them. Now, depending on your job, maybe you only got a couple days, or maybe you've got an entire week. And you're like, hey, what am I going to do with these hours? I want to do something I enjoy. Horror movies. Let's watch some horror movies. But you're like, what should I watch? You've seen Halloween a million times, There's nothing on Hulu or Tubi. I mean, actually, there's tons on Tubi, but you're like, hey, what should I watch? I need some movie recommendations. So I said, hey, you know what? I got you, man. I'm going to do an A to Z horror recommendations. Now, some of these probably you've already seen, but maybe you'll find one in here that you haven't seen. And I'm going to, spoiler alert, right now tell you I do not do every single letter of the alphabet because I don't own Extro. Sorry. Or X-Ray. There's another one. But if you want to make your own list or suggest some movies, write them down below. Before I continue talking, I'm going to grab a drink. If you want to grab a drink, because this is going to be a long one. Now, I'm not going to talk in depth about each movie, give you a little bit of my thoughts, what the movie's generally about, but I'm not going to spoil anything for you. Other than that, I just want to give you guys some cool recommendations. Maybe I'll do this list again because obviously I could do it multiple times, not counting doing VHS. I could probably do it on Blu-ray too. It would be missing some pieces here and there because I don't have every single letter. Wah, boo-hoo. So let's get into it. First off, we have Anthropophagus. This is a really crazy Italian movie by Joe D'Amato. It's basically about these people. They go to an island, and the island is basically deserted aside from this gigantic cannibal man. And this movie has a pseudo sequel, which I also own, and it also starts with A, called Absurd. And a lot of people compare that to Halloween 2. Yeah, it's a little like that. But this movie is actually really creepy. It's got some great gore. This movie was actually remade in the 2000s. Way more over the top. I think the guy who made the Violent Shit movies remade it. If you know about those movies, they're really over the top German shot on video movies. I think I only own the third one, Infantry of Doom, because it came in a 2-pack. But yeah, Anthropophagus. This is a great gory cannibal man type movie, and I think it's pretty good. So check it out if you haven't seen it. Next, we're continuing with these Italian movies. We have Beyond the Darkness. Now, if you want something a little more disturbing, this movie has you covered, and it's also Joe D'Amato. I'm not going to fill this list with Joe D'Amato, and I'm not Italian prejudiced, or not prejudiced, what's the opposite of that? I can't fucking think. Anyways, but yeah, I'm not trying to just recommend Italian movies, but I can't help it. I love them. But this guy's girlfriend dies, and he's torn up about it, so he's like trying to keep her alive, and, well, not alive, but like preserve her body, and he's like killing all these other women, and I think his mom is in on it. It's been a while since I've seen this. If you like movies like Necromantic or I'm trying to think of another one. Dead Girl. There's another one where they have like a dead body kind of in the focus. Or Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. Spoiler, that's my next movie. Beyond the Darkness is definitely not for the squeamish. It's got a great soundtrack, though. If you look up the trailer for this movie, it gets stuck in your head, the music. Now on to C. Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. This is one of my absolute favorite zombie movies, and there's hardly any zombie action until like the last 15, 20 minutes. Up until then, you're following these characters. There's this leader. I can't remember what his name is. Alan? Yes, Alan. Oh, he's so over the top. He's kind of obnoxious. Um, so it's like these theater kids, and they go to a cemetery, they dig up a body, and he's like, let's have a fake marriage. And he marries the body. So you're just like, oh, God. And then, of course, hijinks ensue, needless to say. This is one of the few movies that hasn't been remade yet, and I would actually be really, really interested to see them remake. Because I think if you chose the right person to play Alan, somebody a little eccentric, somebody that had a little bit of like, you're like, oh, I can't stand this guy, but he's really interesting. I want to see what else he's going to do or say. If you had somebody like that in the role, I think it would be like a great remake. But you don't even need the remake. Just watch the original. It's fantastic for what it is. And I do believe, let me see the director. Let's see if I can find his name. Blah, 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 blah. Benjamin Clark, who directed this, is actually Bob Clark, who made Porky's, Black Christmas, and A Christmas Story. So not only is he responsible for Christmas Story, which is one of those famous holiday movies, he's also responsible for another fantastic horror movie, Black Christmas. So yeah, needless to say. Next, we have a Joseph Ellison movie, Don't Go in the House. This movie is a weird mixture of disco music and flamethrowers. Yes, you heard me right, flamethrowers. This guy basically seduces these women and brings them to his house and then traps them in this fireproof room and burns them alive. It's insane. It's fantastic. It's a really good time. I don't hear a lot of people talking about this movie. I've only seen it once, but I need to watch this again because this is a good one. So I'd recommend that if you haven't seen Don't Go Into the House. Next, we have another cannibal movie. Surprise, surprise. Eaten Alive. Most people talk about, Cannibal Ferox or Cannibal Holocaust, but Eaten Alive is right up there in the conversation. Who directed this? Umberto Lenzi. There you go. So yeah, and he also directed Cannibal Ferox. I think this came out second, maybe. Either way, it's a great movie. Umberto Lenzi did a lot of cannibal movies. That was kind of his shtick. But this is a really good one. If you've seen Cannibal Ferox, I wouldn't say this is like better or worse than Cannibal Ferox, but it's definitely something to behold. Now it's not my favorite cannibal movie. You'd think that'd be Cannibal Holocaust, but that is actually Slave of the Cannibal God, because that one's actually got a good story. It's got some good moments, good characters, and it's not just all pointless animal graphicness and all that. But anyways, check that one out if you haven't seen it. Next, we have a Giallo. If you don't know what a Giallo is, that's like an Italian thriller with like very violent slasher imagery in it. And that is Dario Argento's Four Flies on Grey Velvet. Now, I've seen a couple Giallos up at this point, and, a lot of them were, I recognize these are famous for what they are, like the bird with the crystal plumage, Don't Torture a Duckling, and these are, by all accounts, very famous Giallos, but they didn't really do anything for me, and I got rid of them. I'm honestly regretting that because I know they're kind of hard to find movies. But this one caught my attention because it was very fun, especially the last 15 to 20 minutes had me like, oh my gosh. The killer in this movie wears this weird mask. I can't even describe it. It's like kind of human-esque, but it's a little cartoonish. It's very creepy. It's very disturbing. And it's very violent. But if you like a good mystery with a lot of gore and a good twist, Four Flies on Grey Velvet. Can't recommend it more. Next, we have the only Blu-ray that I decided to include in this because I didn't have a lot of G horror movie options. Um, but this one, I was like, you know what? This is less schlocky, if you can believe it, than what I was going to choose. And this is a good independent movie. Always try to promote independent directors when you can. With that said, this is directed by Ryan Nicholson. I'm sure if I looked up his IMDb, I might recognize some other work. But that is Gutter Balls. This movie is basically I Spit on Your Grave meets bowling. it's it's pretty messed up. So if you've got a strong conscience and you can get past the first little initial backstory setup, the movie does get a little more cheesy, a little more fun, pretty goofy, but I'd say it's a pretty fun movie. Gutter Balls. Next, we have a Roger Corman classic, and that is Humanoids from the Deep. If you like Creature from the Black Lagoon and you like some more violent stuff, this kind of combines that. It's basically like these fish people that come into this town and they're trying to breed with the women. It's insane. And it's very graphic, but it's a lot of fun. It's very sleazy. Sleazy, not sleazy. That's a new word. This would make like a great double feature for like a Grindhouse if you want to do a Roger Corman double Grindhouse feature. Next we have Mir Zarki. I might be pronouncing that wrong. I probably am. This is his most infamous film to date that I know. And that is the original director's cut of I Spit on Your Grave. This is definitely not an easy movie to sit through. It is your R&R, your female assault and revenge. You get the gist of it. So basically, this woman is tortured for a unnecessarily long length of time, and then she goes after these men one by one, taking them down. Now the remake and its sequels are a whole nother can of worms, and those are pretty hard to watch as well. But this is the one that started it all. They tried to do a pseudo sequel, kind of like the Halloween 2018 and the Texas Chainsaw one that they did, and it was called like I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu. I would not recommend that. If you have to watch sequels, if you want sequels to this type of movie, stick with the remake and the other two that they came out with. But if you just need a standalone, powerful film to watch, I Spit on Your Grave has that covered. Just, you might have to take a break in the middle because it does get pretty rough. Next, we have Jack Frost. Now, you may recognize this from going to the rental store and you'd see it on the shelf. Actually, I have it right here. Let's see if I can grab it. And you got this nice lenticular cover where it's like, oh, Happy Snowman. Oh! I love the horror movies that have those covers. I don't have Jack Frost 2. I have Uncle Sam, but it does not have the lenticular cover, which I was kind of mad about. And I'm kind of suspicious this is a bootleg, but we're not here to talk about Uncle Sam. But yeah, Jack Frost, serial killer or convict, whatever, he gets in a big accident, turns into a snowman. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. There's an infamous scene with Shannon and Elizabeth from the American Pie movies in it. It's pretty bad. It's pretty over the top, but damn it if this movie isn't a lot of fun. It's pretty goofy. I love it to death. Yeah. Now, here's a letter that I was surprised. I was like, I only have one K movie? Yeah, I was like, wow. So, if I make another list, this is going to be one that's left out because this is the only one I have. And that's Killer Clowns from Outer Space. But hey, if that's the only K movie you have, then it's the only K movie you need because it's freaking Killer Clowns. This is probably the most well-known movie that's going to be on my list. And I guarantee everyone who's watching this has seen it. But if you're one of the few who has not seen this and is like, you know what, that sounds like a dumb movie. That sounds really stupid. Like, I'm not going to I'm not going to watch this goofy horror movie. Now, granted, yes, it is funny, but oh my gosh, it does have some great practical effects. There's a lot of cool kills in here. And I mean, it's Killer Clowns. What can you say? It's fantastic. It's one of the best 80s horror movies ever. So if you haven't seen it, you're doing yourself a disservice. Check it out. Next, we have one that probably no one remembers, but I kind of like these movies, and I wish they kind of done more with it. And that's Laid to Rest. It's like a low budget kind of movie. It's written and directed by Robert Hall. I don't know if that means anything to you. It doesn't mean anything to me. Maybe I should look into that. But yeah, this is a very unique killer. It's a very unique slasher. It kind of drags in the middle. I won't lie. If you can get through that, you do have a very unique killer. There's a guy with these like a chrome skull mask, and he's got a camera mounted to his shoulder. So yes, this is a pre-cell phones era movie. So take that into account. And he's going after this woman, and I don't remember much else about the plot, but I guess the whole point of this video isn't to spoil anything or tell you about the whole damn movie, but to say that, hey, check this out. Maybe I need to check this out again too, because I kind of forgot a little bit about this, but I do remember enjoying it, and I mean, that's why I own it. Now next we have a movie that you won't be able to forget when you watch it, because I still remember the ending. Oh, creepy. And that is May. Oh my gosh. If you've seen this movie, you already know. This is directed by Lucky McGee. That's a hell of a name. I don't know if that's just, a pseudonym or, fake name for the director, but it's crazy. Hold on, I need to get a drink. I'm talking a mile a minute here. So, May is about this awkward girl, and she's, trying to go on all these dates with these men, and it's it's not going well for her. Until she decides that, hey, I'm gonna build the perfect man. So she starts looking for men with, the right kind of arms, or the perfect face, or, things that she finds attractive. And she does that wacky thing where girls in the movies used to be like, oh, look, I'm a completely different person. Like Superman, Clark Kent, or something like that. So she's like seducing all these men, murdering them, and taking their body parts to build this perfect man. And the results at the end are anything but perfect. They are actually creepy, and I don't like it. Duh. If I have to compare it to anything, I would compare it to that YouTube video, I Feel Fantastic, except I do not feel fantastic seeing that abomination at the end. Anyways, on to the next movie. This is a Clive Barker film. Not a lot of people like it, and I can see some of the reasons why, because he came off of Hellraiser, and you got to remember Hellraiser is a huge movie in the horror community. But this one, I do believe, has its place as well. It has kind of more of a sci-fi element, but there is a killer in the movie, and he's trying to blame this other guy who is I can't remember his name. Is it David Cronenberg? I don't remember. The main guy in the movie. But anyways, enough about that. Nightbreed. Let me finally tell you what I'm talking about. This is a very unique movie. I think it's very good. I like the creature effects, the story, the lore behind everything, and then you have this crazy killer that's on the loose too. I'm trying to remember the name of the killer. The NECA made a figure of him. He's got like a burlap mask with like a zipper, and he's got like these insane looking knives and a bag of tools, basically. But he's not the main focus. The other guy who finds the what's the name of the place? Blah 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 blah. Well, Boone's the name of the main guy. Midian. It's such a weird name. But it's basically like a secret world that he wants to be a part of now. It's a good movie, though. I would check it out. Just keep an open mind. Next, for O. Yeah, because Nightbreed. Oh, okay. The Orphan Killer. This movie has no, art. It's kind of sad. It's just... I wish there was a better case. There probably is on Blu-ray, but I have this one, and it has the soundtrack with it. Lucky me. um, Now, this isn't a perfect movie by any means. They did make a sequel, which I don't own. But it's basically about this killer, and he's got a sister, and like it's ridiculous. Like he's trying to like teach her religious lessons. Like it's crazy. It's basically like a versus movie kind of, except for non-established characters. Um, I'm not doing a very good job recommending this. Apparently, it is a good movie. It's got some very violent moments. It is bad in the acting department, but you got to remember it's an independent budget movie. And like I said, some of those you can find good things about, and I definitely did enjoy it. It's one that I haven't seen in quite a while. I need to go back and revisit. So check that one out. Next, we have another Roger Corman classic, and that is Piranha. A lot of people like Jaws, and I can see the appeal of Jaws, but to me, I've always said, hey, Piranha takes the cake, because what's worse than one shark? Hundreds, maybe thousands of piranhas nipping and gnawing your flesh away. Yeah, that's a pretty scary concept, and this movie does a lot of fun things with that concept. Not so much the sequel. We'll ignore that one. But this movie is great. There's a lot of fun action moments. There's a lot of on the edge of your seat moments where you're like, oh my gosh, they're gonna fall in the water and get eaten. And they did remake this movie, and the remakes are utter ridiculous. Like, you can call them trash, but I think they're fun as long as you go into that state of mind that they're remakes of Piranha. They're not meant to be taken seriously. So if you want to have some fun with Piranha, check it out. Check the original out first, and if you can do that one, if you can do the sequel, The Spawning, then you might want to check out the remakes. But just the original is fine. Next, we have a remake, technically, and that is Quarantine. Now, if you want to watch the original Spanish film this was based off, called Rec, I do recommend it as well. It is very creepy, especially the ending, but I think both endings are creepy in their own way. But this one does a lot of building up. It's basically like this apartment complex. These reporters go in there, and they end up trapped, and there's like a zombie virus, which it's more like the running type zombies. So it is very intense. The only thing I think this film suffers from is it is a caught on camera, like a found footage film. So the camera does get a little bit nauseating at times, but it does manage to stay very intense. And I think it's a fun film regardless of that. Next, I'm cheating for the letter R. This movie also goes by the letter C, Class Reunion Massacre. But that is The Redeemer, Son of Satan. I own this movie on VHS as The Redeemer, too. And I also own it as Class Reunion Massacre. It happens to be a movie that I have a big history with, but I'll save that for another video. We are going to talk about this film more in depth down the line. But The Redeemer, Son of Satan is a ridiculous but amazingly done movie where these high school students are invited to a reunion only to find out that it is basically a giant trap and they're being murdered by the most ridiculous, over-the-top costumes and props, and they're unsettling as well. I would show you the back, but we'll save that for when I talk a little more in depth about it. But you got this iconic cover. There's also an alternate cover, which is just as iconic, if not more. And I have a shirt of that, which I will wear when we do that review. Maybe I'll do that soon, not next week, but we'll figure out when, because I want to watch it and give you guys a full review of it. But I do think that's a movie you can actually find and watch on YouTube for free. Maybe if not, probably Tubi. But look for it under The Redeemer or Class Reunion Massacre. Next, we have Splinter. This was directed by Toby Wilkins. This is a phenomenal independent film. It's basically like there's this creature that, oh, excuse me. It reminds me of the Resident Evil 4. If you've played that game, the Regenerators, the alternate version of that, the Iron Maidens with the spikes that come out. It reminds me of that. And there's basically these creatures that, if their spikes get into your skin, they infect you and turn you into one of them. And this movie kind of takes place just in a gas station. They're trapped in there trying to figure out how to get out of there and get away from this thing. And it's very intense. It's very awesome. Some of the most great practical effects that I've seen for body horror stuff. It's very good. If you have not seen Splinter, you need to check that out. It's a great movie to watch with friends too. Next we have for our T. This is a remake. The Town That Dreaded Sundown. Now this thing does an interesting thing that has been done before, but I like the way this movie does it. And it basically treats the original movie as if it were kind of a movie that was made about their town. And this movie is the killers going around recreating the original events. And it's very well done. They do a lot of kills from the original movie, like the trombone kill. If you know, you know. And they're very violent. And this movie is a very well done, sleek slasher remake. I would put it right up there with I'm trying to think of the the Maniac remake. Yeah. I mean, it's not stylistic like that, but it's very smart. It's very true to the source material. And if you're a fan of the original movie, I think you might enjoy this remake. You might not like it better than the original, but you'll be like, hey, they did a very good job on this one. So check it out. So we're getting near the end here. That was The Town That Dreaded Sundown. So now we're on to You. And this movie is one that I found out about because of... Let me see if I can grab it. Boogeyman, the Killer compilation, which there's a lot of things that were missed on this that I think we'll do a video about this in the future too. I'd love to talk about what I would change or what I would do for a sequel. But anyways, that movie did introduce me to this movie, The Ugly, which I'd never heard of. And it's basically about this mentally disturbed man who sees these visions of these things called the ugly, which basically boils down to his victims. And they're like these naked, blood-covered women that surround him, and they tell him to keep killing. And it's a very, very good movie. It's a New Zealand film directed by Scott Reynolds. And I know you see the exclusive Walmart DVD 2-pack. I'm pretty sure this came with a George Romero film called Bruiser, which I have up there. But yeah, this movie, I think it was in a black case, and I switched it out for a white one because it's like that looks pretty cool in there. But yeah, The Ugly. If you can track this movie down, I highly recommend it. It's very good, very entertaining. Next, for V, we have a shot-on-video classic, and that is Video Violence. Now, the only thing I will say right off the bat is the music in this movie does get very, very repetitive, but I can't help but love the charm of this movie and the sequel, to be honest. It's about this town where basically they film snuff films, and this guy stumbles upon it, and it's really low budget, bottom of the barrel acting, but it's so much fun. The part later on where they're like in the convenience store, anytime they're shot in the video store, you're like seeing movies in the background. They're talking about horror movies. It's fantastic because you have all these people in town. They're coming in. They're like renting these ultra violent, hardcore like horror fan movies, and this guy's like, "Oh, what the hell? Like you're renting this movie?" And it's pretty awesome. It makes you really nostalgic for that era of video store, mom and pop VHS rental stuff. And this movie fits in right on the shelf. I mean, the cover, for crying out loud. It's got the bloody hand sticking a tape in the VCR. And and it's such a good movie. It's really schlocky, but it's a lot of fun. If you like low budget horror, this is gonna get you your fix. Um, Now we have W again. We're skipping X, so sorry, sorry X. We even found a Q movie, um, and that is Wormwood: Road of the Dead. Um, Now I haven't seen this movie in quite a while, but it's literally what it says right here. It's Mad Max meets Dawn of the Dead. Um, I Kia Roach Turner is the director. Now there is a sequel. I think I have the sequel somewhere, but I need to watch both of these again. I do remember when I watched this. This was like mid 2000s, late 2000s. Um, 2015. So yeah. Um, this movie is a lot of fun. It's it's one that if you've seen a ton of zombie movies and you're like, oh, sick of all these zombie tropes. I'm sick of like the same old, and you want something a little more like boom, more action packed, little more violent. Wormwood Road of the Dead. I almost said Day of the Dead. Wormwood Road of the Dead is a good one. I can't say for sure about the sequel because I haven't seen it, but I do plan on rewatching it. Um, do like a double feature with these. But this is a fantastic zombie film. Next, I don't have a lot of Y movies, so I said, hey, I own it. I liked it. It's been a while since I've watched it. There's a lot of these movies that, I haven't had time to rewatch. Granted, that's my fault. So yeah, maybe I will join you guys and do a little marathon of my own. And that's Your Next. This is a more modern movie. If I had to compare it to anything, I'd say maybe The Strangers. And most people have probably seen Your Next. Now, is the best horror movie for Y? Probably not, but I mean, like I said, I don't have a lot of Y movies, but I do own it, so that means to me, I liked it. So I would recommend it. I do remember it's pretty suspenseful. The animal masks are pretty cool. So yeah, You're Next. If you haven't seen it for some reason, and you want something a little more modern, that's probably a good place to start. And last but not least, I'm cheating a little here, but hear me out. And that is Zombie, aka Dawn of the Dead. And you're like, wait a minute, that's a D. No, no, no. In Europe, they called it Zombie. And I was thinking I could do Zombie too, but technically, Zombie is the Dario Argento version of Dawn of the Dead. So if you can track down the European cut, there's a few box sets. There's the big black box set of Dawn of the Dead somewhere back there. I'm not going to grab it. I might have it on VHS too. Maybe. Probably not. No. But yeah, it'd probably be a little harder to track it down on a single release, but you can find laser discs of this if you have a laserdisc player. You can find box sets. I know they have like a Blu-ray or a 4K box set of the different versions. There's like the theatrical, the director's cut, and the European cut. Zombie. It's definitely a bit of a different viewing experience, but it's still a lot of fun. It's still a great movie, regardless. If anything, I think they add a little extra gore into the European cut versus the theatrical. I know the director's has probably about a similar amount. Maybe one day I'll be feeling brave to watch back to back to back and see if I can compare all the different versions. But hey, there you go. There's my A to Z horror recommendations. So let me know down below. Is there a specific letter that you're like, hey, I recommend this movie. This is a more obscure, interesting, awesome movie. And let me know if you want me to do another one of these. I probably won't do it anytime soon. I'll let this one kind of breathe a little bit before I jump into another one. But obviously, like I said, I could do a whole nother list, at least on DVD. I could attempt a VHS list because I have a good amount of those. Blu-ray, maybe not so much. But hey, until next time, check out the posts. I do questionnaires. I'll share images or like updates on certain things that I find interesting. Occasionally, I'll do a short here or there. Not big on those, but those seem to be getting the most views right now. I mean, but they are more widespread and easier to digest, so I get it. But thanks for all the new subscribers. Hope you guys are enjoying the channel and the content. If there's any suggestions or anything you want to see me talk about, leave a comment below. I read the comments as long as you're not being like super negative and shit. I'll just ignore those ones. I don't care. But if you have some cool suggestions or you just want to, say hey, I don't care. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.